welcome to my ASMR movie discussion on the topic of Dune and how it relates to the white savior narrative. Before we begin, let's do some breath work and enjoy some tuning fork vibrations to help clear the air of low vibration energies. First, let's take 3 deep breaths. Inhale and exhale. And inhale and exhale. And inhale and exhale. Thank you. Let us begin with a definition of the white savior narrative. While I present this, I will briefly scan with a white selenite wand to protect the session. We could think of the white savior narrative as an extension of the damsel in distress story, where in the case of the white savior narrative, an indigenous culture is considered the damsel in distress, and the hero who is on a mission to save or liberate them or rescue them is a white male protagonist. In my view, it could also be considered a very masculine narrative, where the masculine energy is in need of a purpose, and this purpose is fulfilled by an act of empathy. As such, it could be considered quite the honorable mission. However, it is often regarded unfavorably because the hero presupposes that he knows better than the indigenous culture. So, what we see in the case of Dune is the hero, Paul Atreides, who later takes on the name of Muad'Dib, presented with the necessity of coming to the rescue of the Fremen. In that sense, it does indeed fit the white savior narrative. Let us now take a moment to enjoy the ASMR sounds of a rattle. There are a few important elements of the story that I would like to point out. Let us keep in mind that I have not finished reading the book. I have only seen Denis Villeneuve's interpretation of the story in parts 1 and 2 of the trilogy. Based on what I've read about part 3 and the fact that it will be based on Frank Herbert's Dune Messiah, have revealed to me that part 3 will show the impact of Muad'Dib's decisions and the fact that many will die as a result of his course of actions. Let us now enjoy the sounds of my rain stick. One thing that stood out to me about the story is that the character of Chani saved Paul's life a number of times. So in a sense, she is a savior in the story, an essential savior whose actions led to the preservation of her people. So one could not properly place full responsibility, for the saving of the Fremen purely on Muad'Dib's shoulders. And even though he chose relationship with someone else as a form of political alliance, his actions did protect the lives of the Fremen and the lives of the woman he loved. And in fact, it was mentioned in the movie that this was one of the very few timelines in which saving the Fremen would be possible. So, it was an act motivated by love, even though, ostensibly, it did not have the appearance of such. And the fact that the attack on the House Atreides would be avenged is also evidence of the act having been motivated by love. While it is also true that harmful consequences were to come later as a result of these actions, as will be explored further in the third installment of the trilogy. The ultimate significance of the path that he chose reveals to us the ways that love serves as a protection, because Johnny loved him. He wanted to protect her, and this is essential to the nature of the masculine-feminine energy dynamic, because the feminine energy is a radiance and an opening of the heart, which inspires the masculine to protect the feminine in a physical sense. So, although every action we take has harmful and beneficial consequences, those motivated by love will protect the ones we love. I invite you to participate in the community chat and share whatever additional feelings you might have on this topic. I find it very fascinating in the context of the masculine feminine energy dynamic, and I also see the value in the white savior narrative, so long as we at the same time acknowledge the spiritual component and the emotional component that is brought in by the feminine energy, and that we acknowledge the role of the feminine to save the masculine in a spiritual sense, much the same way as he saves and protects her in the physical realm. Those are my thoughts and feelings. Thank you for joining, and I welcome your participation in the chat. I love you all, and I will see you next time.